Sarah, we're with you, Sarah.
This is the story of some Americans who have risked federal prison terms because of their nonviolent acts of civil disobedience. It's about who they are, what they did, and why. For decades, many Latin American military responsible for massacres, kidnapping, torture, and assassinations have been trained at the Pentagon's School of the Americas, SOA. Financed by U.S. tax dollars, it is now located at Fort Benning, a military base next to Columbus, Georgia. Every November since 1990, tens of thousands of people from across America have come to the gates of Fort Benning to express their outrage at the atrocities performed by graduates of the school. Their protest goes on for 2 days. It involves music,
Stop the violence. Y'all keep saying, stop to me and you. Stop the violence.
speakers,
Foreign policy must change.
and prayer.
You have to look at what is going on and decide whether you agree or disagree. And there are ways to go about it without doing civil disobedience, but then you have to go to the next step sometimes.
Thousands of the protesters have trespassed onto the grounds of the base as an act of nonviolent civil disobedience, demanding that SOA be shut down. They come from all walks of life, some well-known,
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
most unknown, young and old. They are all part of SOA Watch, a growing grassroots movement that struggles to be heard by the media and members of Congress. Over 200 of them have collectively served 80 years in prison for their actions. Their sentences have been as long as 18 months, with fines up to $10,000.
Thank you, everyone.
They are known as prisoners of conscience.
We have 170 people who have crossed the line onto Fort Benning. We give you now some of our prisoners of conscience.
I don't believe in, crime, and I don't do things like that, but I did feel that this was important that I crossed that line. The penalty was 6 months, and everybody else had gotten 6 months,
Having him gone like that, it was quite dramatic for a man from the middle class, his conservative church background, to be suddenly away in prison. And it really woke people up because they asked questions.
You can see there's a gate. That gate was built after September 11th, but it's open all year except when the people come these 2 days a year in November.
Trespassers now climb over a fence or cross over a concrete barrier and expect to be arrested. Three months after their arrests, those who trespassed onto the grounds of Fort Benning are facing trials in the federal courthouse in Columbus.
try to take action to close the School of the Americas, which has been renamed the Western Hemisphere Institute for Security Cooperation. I spent 19 months in Guatemala over the years of 2000 and 2002. I met women, their children had been disappeared. 20 years later, they're still asking, where are my children? To be disappeared is to be killed almost immediately, but their loved ones never know what really happened to them. The oppression continues today, and we are continuing to train officers and soldiers from Latin America in the same tactics. When an institution avoids looking at that history, I have to take a stand and say, you know, if it's not willing to look at that history, and I am, and I'm willing to face the consequences for doing that.
I was raised to be proud of America. Had 3 brothers, 2 of which are veterans, 1 that's disabled in the First Gulf War, 1 was killed in the line of duty. I'm not proud of what my country is doing here in Columbus, Georgia. I am not proud that those trained have contributed to the deaths of more than 180 union organizers in Colombia alone last year.
As civil war continues in Colombia, more trainees from that country have gone to the School of the Americas than from any other country.
I'm a national officer with the American Postal Workers Union. One of the things that I wanted to tell the courts and kind of holler out at the world is worldwide in 2002, 213 unionists were killed in the world. 6 out of every 7 of those unionists killed were from Colombia.
I have 5 sons. I've spent most of my adult life raising my children to be men of conscience. And I think the best way to teach them how to do that is by example. That's why I risk a prison term crossing the line.
Unfortunately, in this country, we've come to a stage where it takes breaking the law to get attention. Really, it's no different. Black people wouldn't be voting if they hadn't broken the law, neither would women, and if the law is wrong, it's no law at all.
Well, I'm here representing the Jesuits of Central America. I knew personally 2 of the Jesuits who were killed in 1989 at our university in San Salvador. 19 of the 26 Salvadoran special forces who carried out that brutal murder of 6 priests and 2 women had been trained by the School of the Americas.
It started out as a Catholic movement, it's not anymore. It's been broadened, and last year I was on the stage and on Sunday morning read a prayer for the dead, the Jewish, the mourners Kaddish. And there's been an opportunity to have different faiths, and people are here for many different reasons, but we all come together to work to close the school.
This school here has been found out to actually train in terrorist techniques. I actually feel, as George Bush does, that we have to stop terrorism in one way by stopping the training of terrorists. And I don't think we, as taxpayers, should be paying for that. I don't think we should, as human beings, be supporting such a school that actually hurts people.
No more, we must stop the dirty war. Compañeros, compañeras, we cry. No más, no.
I'm Joe Mulligan. I'm from Detroit, but working in Nicaragua.
Sarah Jones.
Right. Where are you
Nice
from?
to meet you. I'm from Durham, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Sort of. I'm at school at Duke Divinity School, but I'm from Tennessee. So it's really scary to attempt nonviolence. And it does mean giving up ourselves. It means denying ourselves legitimate self-defense. But that in my doing that in this tiny, small way, our nation might get some strength to do that in a large way by doing things like closing this school.
Right. It's an important step.
To cross this line here, to risk getting arrested, is to step beyond reason into something you put yourself in control of the state. You could go to jail for 6 months, for 8 months. You could be beaten in jail. Anything could happen to you. And whether you're an atheist, a Catholic, a Protestant, a Jew, a Muslim, whatever your value system that gives you the courage to take that risk on behalf of others who suffer more than us is a powerful thing.
I'm feeling very peaceful on the inside. I think, there's always a little tension in a situation like this, but I think it's the right thing to do, and I feel that the Lord is here with all of us, and I feel that now. I feel the presence of my friends here, all these people around, and other people who have already gone across.
If you enter this installation, you will be in violation of Section 1382, Title 18, United States Code, and subject to imprisonment.
Peace to all of you. I think we all just have to do what we can, to work for justice in the best way that we can. Hi, good morning. Just want to express my opposition to the School of the Americas here. Soldiers from Nicaragua, soldiers from the Dominican Republic, Honduras, and El Salvador are over in Iraq, just like some of you and your friends have been risking your lives over there. Now they're bringing them over from Latin America. I'm losing my glasses. Could you push them up a little bit on my nose? Thanks a lot.
Hopefully, I can be a witness to my church, to my home, my community, about what is happening, about how many people are being abused, raped, murdered, and that has to stop. I simply ask that those on this side of the fence would see the humanity of those on the other side of the fence this morning. Lord God, I pray for the people inside of this space, Lord God. I pray.
I have not crossed the line before. It's something that I don't know that I'm ready for. Emotionally, spiritually. I feel you have to get to a certain place in your heart and in your soul to be able to go there. But I don't feel like I'm there yet.
For someone who's crossing the line for the first time, the consequences could be up to 6 months, but when you do something like this, you expect and prepare for the fullest consequences.
Sarah,
These people are really strong, and I wish I was over there with them.
It makes me feel proud that we could be here and that there's a lot of people coming here and
These people are crossing the line. There's a lot of people that don't cross the line, but these people are doing it for us.
It was really intense. I'm not sure when we'll see her. I'm hoping sometime by Tuesday she'll be released. Yeah, so that means she'll be back late Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, back to Durham.
And again, as we gather tonight, we honor those people, those women and men who are about to go on trial over these next few days to call this school of assassins to accountability.
I am guilty, and I'm proud of it. And so I crossed the line knowing that I'm facing federal prison term, which is kind of hard when I have 2 minor children, but I really didn't have any choice, I felt. And it's, I think, hardest on those that are closest to you.
Oh, yeah.
After I got out, I learned that if anyone called me a criminal, as some people did, I said, excuse me, I'm not a criminal, I'm a person of conviction. That judge's gonna tell me that I broke his law. That judge's gonna tell me that I broke his law. And he's gonna jail me and give me a fine. Well, I might have broke his law, but I didn't break mine.
On the morning of the trial, 3 months after their acts of civil disobedience, they walked from their motel with their families and supporters to face the consequences of their convictions.
Get back off. When it's time to come in, they'll let you know when it's time to come in.
If I'm sentenced to prison, I'll probably start the sentence right away. You know, either this morning, whether that's this morning or this afternoon.
Okay, maybe it was.
So. Well, I'm not particularly terrified or terrorized. As a matter of fact, it's a relatively small price to pay when you consider what other people are suffering in this world for standing up for peace and justice and social change.
I have 12 months of probation and a $1,500 fine.
Mm-hmm.
I have my permit to travel, so I will travel back to Duke where I'm in seminary.
I'm Shirley's mother, and we are Quakers, and we have always believed in nonviolence, and so we've participated in demonstrations before, but nothing ever as dramatic as she has undertaken today, or this past November. I'm one of her supporters here.
I'm here basically supporting Lisa Barnes. You know, each person that goes to trial has a support team.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, you.
What did you tell the judge?
So what did I tell him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Mom.
I told him he had a chance to join the right side.
And he said?
Well, he kind of deferred. He said he didn't really feel as though he had a chance to make a change. But, you know, I wanted a rebuttal, but instead they took me away.
And what do they do to you? What are you going to do?
I'm going to be going to prison, 3 months in a federal prison, yet to be determined which one. And I got a $500 fine.
The way the school gets closed is the Congress has to vote to close it. The way that we put pressure or raise the awareness of Congress is having people from local communities be involved And going to prison shows people in a local community in a much more concrete way than people, halfway across the country.
We can change this school by law, and we're very close to it. Each year we get closer. My parents are here too. Can I introduce them?
Sure. I'm Charlotte Brown, and I'm here to protest against the School of the Americas and to support our daughter in her protests.
I'm David Brown. I'm Catherine Swaller. I'm here to protest and also to admire my daughter for the patriotic things she's done. She's a good American.
Have you been to jail for justice? Then you're a friend of mine. Well, the law's supposed to serve us, and so are the police. But when the system fails, it's up to us to speak our piece. We must be ever vigilant for justice to prevail. So get courage from your convictions, let them haul you off to jail. Have you been to jail for justice? I want to shake your hand, 'cause singing and lying down are ways to take a stand. Have you sung a song for freedom, or marched that picket line? Have you been to jail for justice? Then you're a